How's everybody doing today? Gorgeous day. It's sunny out. I wanted to talk today about a follow-up on a topic that we talked about last week. We started by talking about how you can make money over the internet, how you can actually make some money just by doing some stuff on your phone. And I mentioned that probably the best way to do it, if you're going to do any one thing, is the Google Opinion Rewards, because it's quick and easy, it's non-intrusive, and you actually can get a sizable reward without sacrificing too much of your personal information. Now, that's entirely up to you and your opinion. There are a few other options, and I've employed several of those. These are not nearly as easy, but I would say they're quite a bit more legitimate than any of the silly games or questionable surveys or anything else that we talked about last week. So the number one that I'm going to talk about today is eBay. eBay, you have to have a product to sell. That's the trick. But the fact of the matter is, you now have a market open to, anything and everything. So if you have any kind of a product that you could sell, putting it up on eBay is a great way to have a huge audience look for your product. Now, eBay is not as it's not as much of a pioneer land as it used to be. 15 years ago, a buddy of mine, he claimed that he would go to thrift stores, find toys, and resell them on eBay. And I tried that, and I made a chunk of change, $100 on one go. But it was kind of obnoxious, and I wound up having a lot of extra leftover stuff that I just didn't know. Had I stuck with it, I probably could have done pretty good. Again, we're going to see a recurring theme here. You've got to have some kind of value. You can't just jump into these things and think, all right, well, I'm just going to go and make money right off the bat, right away. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, you have to have some kind of value. In this case, the value is you're finding toys and you're introducing them to a market. So you're getting the profit for having found those toys and introduced them to a market. You found an item that had a buyer and you brought the two together. So unless you know the value of stuff, that wasn't going to work at all. So I knew name brand toys would work pretty well, and so I picked up anything that had a name, and I realized that some names aren't worth anything. While there's other names, G.I. Joe, for example, that was my biggest item. That was worth quite a bit. Now, so eBay, you got to have some kind of product to sell. Now, what are you going to sell product-wise? I have no idea. I only sell my leftover junk on eBay, and I have made thousands of dollars over 15 years. Sorry, 18 years selling on eBay. But that, not bad. Chunk of change. Now, if you're the crafty type, I've never done this, but I've considered it because I do make bamboo staffs, walking sticks. So if you're the crafty type, you might want to consider Etsy. Etsy is basically eBay, but with, instead of an auction, buy it now, buy anything, it's crafty and you set up your own storefront. So Etsy's not a bad place to go. I have purchased things through Etsy, but have never actually sold anything through Etsy. Don't quite have the skills just yet to actually throw those things up there. Plus, I only have a couple of them. They're time intensive, and it was more of a hobby than anything else. So you got Etsy. But then, not only can you sell items, but there are ways that you can sell your skills. So the two other places you should check out if you have some skills you could sell would be Craigslist and TaskRabbit. Now, Craigslist, you can sell items as well. Cool thing about Craigslist is if you can, your market is typically much smaller. It's going to be just your local market because you and the buyer are going to want to meet face to face. That's the downside. The plus side is it's much simpler. It can be a cash transaction. It's less expensive. eBay charges you not only you got to do the PayPal transfer fees, but then also eBay charges you to sell items on their site. Not a lot. I sold about $100 the other day. I had to pay $5 in fees, and I think if you sell more than that, it's less than 5%. But Craigslist is zippy. Craigslist, you put up there, say $20. The dude comes over, says I'll give you 15. He hands you a 10 and a 5, and you walk away. Problem with Craigslist for product is the market is much smaller. So if you're ever looking to buy something, I always do a quick Craigslist search first, then move to eBay. Because Craigslist, you can haggle, you can, you know that their market is a little smaller, you can generally get a better price on Craigslist. With Craigslist, you're also not protected by the buyer guarantee. Craigslist is as it is. There's lots of ways you can get scammed buying on Craigslist also, so you got to be careful. eBay will protect you. PayPal will protect you. A cash transaction in a parking lot at the Safeway, no protection there. But you can also sell skills. I have sold video editing skills on Craigslist before. Not a lot, just little, pocket change now and then. But somebody says, "I've got this little video I need to edit up and turn into this, and I don't want to spend a lot of money." And I say, "Well, that's really easy. No firm's going to touch this with a 10-foot cattle prod, but I can do it for you for $40, no problem. They'll just do it." So I'm filling that gap of people who want to get something done, don't know how to do it, don't have a lot of money to spend, and there's not really a market out there for it. So then there are other places where you can go to sell your services as well. The first one I'm thinking of is TaskRabbit. Now, I've never used TaskRabbit, but I've looked at it. And if you have something that you need to do that requires labor of some kind, and it doesn't even need to be skilled, it can be unskilled, you can hop on TaskRabbit, register yourself, and people will say, all right, so there's one dude 20 miles away from me who he needs help moving rocks around in his backyard. I'll go do that. Or he needs help learning how to play the guitar. I can go teach him how to play guitar. And you'll, like eBay, you'll bid on it, say, okay, here's why I think you ought to hire me to do the job. And then the person can hire the person that they want to do the job on. Now, again, I've never used it one way or the other, but I have checked it out, and it looks very interesting. There's another one, I think it used to be called Elance. I looked into that. That is for skilled digital labor. Stuff like video editing and logo design, basically anything that you can do through a computer, you can do through Elance. And I looked into that, don't have the skills to compete on that market, so I left it alone. But there are plenty of ways that if you have some kind of marketable skill that you can market it. Now my skills are definitely in the Craigslist, and my time frame is in the Craigslist area. One of the big things is if you're going to use these services, you got to use them frequently. Okay, but you have skills, let's say you got none of that, and you still just want to make a little extra money. There is one other option, and this, in my mind, is the best of the best with one major flaw. It's Mechanical Turk. You may have heard of it, right? Amazon. Long story about what the Mechanical Turk actually is, but Amazon's Mechanical Turk is a way that you can hop on the internet right now, make money, and have it basically in your hands right now and in your bank account in 2 or 3 days. You do tasks like help me sort these pictures, or transcribe this 30-second audio clip, take a survey. You remember you talking about surveys, how surveys were BS and there was an exception to that rule? This is the exception. The surveys on Mechanical Turk are real. Identifying objects in photographs, cropping photographs, describing photographs, going out and collecting video of mundane objects, writing short articles, all this stuff, and just like random, really weird stuff that you can sit down at your computer and you can have done within an hour, and they're going to pay you money for it, actual real money for these tasks. It sounds like miraculous, right? 2 things were our problem with this. Basically one thing, oversaturation. There are people around the world clamoring to do these tasks. What does that mean to you? It means that you'll work for an hour and make $3. Because the tasks are obnoxious and repetitive and not fun and very unskilled and undemanding. You will work for a long time and make hardly anything at all. And there are people in the States doing this full time, and the reason that they do it is because they just, doing it this way, they do never have to see a person or talk to a person. They love it. Now, what did I actually use this Mechanical Turk, and I used it a lot, and I did make a chunk of money on it, but the time I spent to make that money was not worth it compared to my skills in the market force, and actually if I could get a full-time job doing what I'm good at. The reason I did it, however, was because I was in a situation where I had a lot of spare time in front of a computer, with nothing else to do. I had to sit there and just wait. So I spent an hour or two a week just sitting there waiting. So I would make an extra $3 or $4 a week, and I did that over the course of a year and wound up making like $150, which is awesome, you know, for an extra year. And it was doing stuff that it didn't feel very different from playing a game like I don't know, popular mobile game like Tetris. It didn't feel very different from Tetris, but it actually, you make $1 and you transfer it to your Amazon account, and now you have $1 in your Amazon account. You can use it to spend on Amazon, or you can transfer that to your bank account, no fees. Just you make $1, you earn that $1, you get that $1. That $1 is yours to spend this day, or yours to have in your bank account within normal transfer day, a couple of days. So Mechanical Turk is awesome. It's just you're not going to get there and make even $5, but you're not even going to make minimum wage. You would do better going out and getting a job at McDonald's. But Mechanical Turk can work for you if you just need to make an extra, you know, $20, $30 a month. Spend an hour or two on there a week, and you can have a little extra change floating around. Now, it's not worth, again, there's so many other things you could do. I would strongly recommend you spend that hour or two a week out learning a skill that you can market on TaskRabbit or Elance. That's going to do better for you in the long run. But, you know, if you got a little bit of time to kill and you decide, I'll just do a survey really quickly. All right, now I got 50 cents. Dump that in your retirement account or throw that in your pocket change fund, and now you got something fun to do. So those are my 2 cents on Mechanical Turk, TaskRabbit, Elance, and eBay. Plenty of other great ways to make money.